all this discussion should have happened prior to the thing.
But we do need to.
I really feel that some of you feel as graffiti as I do, but yet going along with others, and my concern, what is it gonna go into?
My request still, I do not, where we are on what it is or not, I don't know. Even with it being in the signs, the sign ordinance, I would like to place it on the next agenda. I withdraw it now, but I'm being told that she's not
She was
here.
sitting right here and it approved and she left.
Correct. So we can still evaluate that. That's what she's saying right now, that we can place it on the next agenda. I'd like to do that because I don't feel like that it's our, I feel like we got too far into the weeds as far as telling staff how to interpret something. And so I'm not comfortable with that at this point. So my request would be to place it on a future agenda. With the recommendation of how we can, I know
We need to work on the sign ordinance.
we gotta figure out
We're going to item number 16.
stuff that we don't want.
Item 16, discussion and our action on hiring a telecommunications consultant regarding a 120-foot mono tower lease located at City Hall that expires on December 26, 2021.
As you know, the city's going to have some decisions to make about that monopole in 2 years, right, Marvin?
2021,
Yeah. So
December of 2021.
2 years, okay. So, and Marvin is being contacted weekly by American Tower, which is the entity that manages the lease for Verizon. And just so you can get some history, 25 years ago, we entered into a lease with Conco, the city did, and it's an excellent lease. It really is a great lease. I think you have one of the best tower leases that I've seen. But so Verizon built that tower for you, and then had control over who, you know, the telecommunications entities that were put on that tower. Yeah, they leased the space. They got the money, and they agreed. They pay the city a certain amount every year, and it's not very much. So, but the way that lease works is at the end of that period, we can renew it.
Or take possession of it.
We can take possession of it because it becomes ours. It becomes the city's tower when that lease terminates. Or we can require them to take it down. And I think you remember that they were, in years past, American Tower has been coming to the city. At one point, they wanted to buy it, and then we realized that would not work because it's on our property here, and we can't sell a chunk of the municipal complex away like that. So I know some about tower leasing. I know that we have a really great lease. It's one I use for almost all of my other cities whenever we want to do something.
Yeah, I was on the council meeting.
Analyst and Lucy, who's retired, but she's the one that drafted it. She did a great job. So, but I think this is a huge decision going forward. It's going to be probably for the next 40 years. There's could be a lot of money involved. There's a lot of issues involved. This guy, John Pestle, is like the premier telecommunications. This is what he does. He's out of Michigan. He's the one that talks at all the seminars. Everybody wants to hear what John Pestle has to say. I got on his website and just called him up thinking he could recommend somebody in Texas or something. And it turns out he's worked with our firm before. He knows our firm. So he does work in Texas. I was shocked that he picked up the phone. He was a great guy. I talked to him for about 45 minutes. But he is somebody, I think, that if the city hired him or somebody like him, but I recommend him, as a consultant, that our firm could work with him, with his guidance. I wouldn't.
He would consult your firm and you would be doing the work.
And what he would do, if you look at it, he would help level the playing field because these telecommunications companies, that's all they do. someone with this kind of expertise. That's what he charged, and he said, well, I went to Harvard. And
That answers the question.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It
With
went
the
to
Harvard.
Harvard. But, I mean, he's a smart guy.
I used to live on Harvard.
No, well, okay, so he and I talked about that a bit. He charges upwards of $6.50 an hour. You're getting such a deal with me. But,
Wow.
but,
Been doing it a while, it's been taking long.
well, that too, and he said he has an associate that he thinks will probably do it for about $400 now. He hasn't sent us a proposal, but this is for you all to think about when we do get the proposal. And I told him what we probably want to do then is.
Have them finish the work in 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, work with us, but, the city would put a cap on it and say, yep, we can do it, but we only want $3,500 of your time, or something like that. But in my opinion, it would be so worth it to have someone who deals with these companies all the time.
Well, I have a question I'm gonna ask.
Mhm.
By the time we pay consultants and attorneys, how many years before we'd ever reap any benefit or financial gain off the tower?
I think you're gonna get,
But I know I don't like thinking when it comes to dollars like this.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if work for a percentage
Mhm.
of the profits off of it, I'm
I
much
see
on
that
board
in
with
a
that.
heartbeat.
But come in and say we're paying $650 an hour and he's out there for 2 months going through you and we're paying your attorney fees and we come through here, at what point will we see revenue coming back to the city? Because
Immediately. I think it's going to be
You sign
much
a lease,
more.
you get a signing bonus for
Yeah,
the deal.
no, I don't, we won't do that, he won't do that, but no. I think the city will give benefits.
So he works with all the major carriers.
Yeah,
So he would be calling the major carriers, who would give us the best deal?
yes, he would know what.
He'd be a broker.
He'd know what is, he wouldn't necessarily be a broker, but he would assist us assist the city in negotiating so that you can get the best price. And also he has, and he pointed out, he got online and was looking at where this pole is, and he said, you're gonna want to make sure that when you renew this lease, and I've had this thought too, when you renew this lease, you're gonna have to put in that lease, if the city ever expands, City Hall, you're gonna have to require that the tenant, whoever is relocated, yeah. I mean, I think the other option the city might wanna do, which I don't know if you have the resources to do it, but would be to manage that tower yourself and reap the benefits of the leases that come in. But he said, there are issues with that too, and you're gonna have to have a lot of expertise.
But like if he leased it to Sprint, they want to be exclusive. They're not going to let the other people
They
be
might
up there
want,
too.
yeah.
Well, a lot of times those towers go up, they lease it to 12 different people.
Yeah, I know that.
Right.
You should,
Maybe not all tailored, but
Yeah.
you should have a ballpark of what he thinks this thing should lease for.
Right, 'cause
the bottom line is that we pay you to represent us, and that's your advice.
my advice
So
is
that's,
to level the playing field and,
We've had several people coming in. I remember lots of meetings where they wanted that tower bad.
they do want, yeah, and I think a lot of them haven't read the lease and know that it's going to be the city's in 2 years.
Another thing is the council directed us to look into consultants for this, over a couple of years ago. And we just haven't been able to come up with anything. This is the first one we've heard about that seems promising.
so then how do we move forward?
I'll just ask him to send a proposal and tell him that we'll put a cap on it at $3,500 or $3,000 or $2,500, or, at the time he sends the proposal, you guys can consider whether or not that's something you want to do.
Well, if you haven't already, all the information on it, but you're not, like I said, to send that, what we have to him and say, based on this, what do you think we can get from this? And it gives us an idea of dollars